Hey YouTube. Hello YouTube. I am Damian Moody. I also go by Cashmere Majesty or Red Ron Hood. Any name is fine. Um Now I'm back again with another live video. And in today's live video, I want to do a reaction. But before I do this reaction, I want to say I don't own the copyrights to anything that this video provides. This is just me doing an honest reaction. So I was watching this video, I believe it was last night. Sometime last night I was watching this video, and this guy. Now I know it's plenty of people who do these videos where they go to the graves of people and share their stories of what may have led to their deaths or whatever the case may be. I didn't watch plenty of videos over the years. Um, but it's this guy who happens to go to the grave of Emmett Till. For y'all who may not know, I don't know what's the age limit of the people that watch my videos. So, and what the schools decide to teach y'all. Anyway, so Emmett Till is a young male who was lynched back in 1955 for allegedly whistling and flirting with a white woman. Um, hopefully that many of you have heard the story over the years. They didn't had a movie about it. They didn't had a TV program about it called Women of the Movement. Um, but I watched this video and I really didn't know how to take it. But clearly in the video, this guy, he, I guess, speaks to spirits or whatever the case may be. And I was with it at first, but then I guess some of the questions and the so-called reactions, responses to the questions, I don't know. I just want to do a reaction to the video and get other people's opinion. So his name is, so I'm going to screen share. So his name is Darren Spratt. Dallin. I don't know. Spratt. Sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong. I guess he'll say it in the video. But anyway, this is speaking to the spirit of Emmett Till. His message gave me chills. Clearly, the video got 6.6K likes. Let me see. There's a lot of people, they gave their comments. This video was done 2 days ago. And it says, in one of the most powerful spirit box sessions I've ever done, I traveled to Chicago to visit the final resting place of Emmett Till, a young boy whose brutal murder in 1955 shocked the nation and ignited the civil rights movement. Using the spirit box, I respectfully reached out to Emmett's spirit to let him know that his death was not in vain, that his story changed the course of history. The responses I received were emotional, moving, and unforgettable. This video is a tribute to his life legacy and the fight for justice that still continues. Watch closely and listen carefully. Emmett has something to say. Please like, comment, and share this video to keep his memory alive. Okay. Wow. That's cool and all, but I just want to play this video out to get other people's opinion because I don't know how to take it. And I'm gonna try to pause here and there to give y'all.
One of the most horrific and galvanizing civil rights era was the murder of Emmett Till in Mississippi. The 14-year boy was brutally beaten, his eyes gouged, a cotton gin fan with barbed wire wrapped around his neck, and he was thrown into the Tallahatchie River to drown. Till's mother's decision to have an open casket to show the world what happened to her son would launch a movement against lynching and propel activists in their push for civil rights. 60 years later, stunning new information involving the white woman at the center of the case. And a witness.
It's just crazy because Like I said, I'm gonna be pausing here and there to give y'all my opinion, and also, but it's just crazy because ever since I was younger, I think I probably was like in my teens when I first heard the story. Because I'm not gonna lie, anything before then, I've heard plenty of Black History stories, but this wasn't one of them. I had to be in my teens when I first heard the name of Emmett Till, and I remember um, I told y'all stories about how I used to be at my great grandparents' house, and they used to have like Black History records and stuff like that. Because I was always digging through his books, going around the house reading books, and he would let me listen to some records with him. And I remember hearing his name, and I would always do research. Most of the time, my uncle Benny, he had a computer in his basement, and that's actually how I did the project. So I always do. I mean, when I was at school, I'll do research, and I just kept hearing his name because I think somebody was mentioning the movie Roots, and just in the conversation, I heard something about Emmett Till, and I'm like, well, who's that? So after doing the research, I was like, oh wow, and I was trying to think of something to do a project on, and I end up going to my uncle Benny house, and I end up searching up the name, and just seeing a picture, I was shocked. Just listening to the story, and I mean, over the years, they give you more details, and this happened, and that happened, and so forth, and what have you. But out of all the crazy and scary things I've seen, for some reason, I never was scared. And I used to jump. I don't like seeing anything. I used to be terrified of funerals. Anything dead could be an animal, a person. I was terrified. But for some reason, I was, like I said, in my teens when I first really got word of this, like the full story, and seeing the before and after picture. I never was terrified. And then just seeing the movie description of everything that happened, the movies, the documentaries, and everyone sharing what they believe have happened, just knowing that this is a 14-year-old boy, only 14 years old, being falsely accused of whistling and flirting with a white woman. And for the people that killed him to go to his uncle's house at the wee hours of the morning. It's still dark outside. You can imagine. Like, so clearly the uncle didn't know what was going on. They never told him. Everyone else knew, but the uncle didn't know. And I can only imagine because I mean, there's different versions of what may have happened. Like watching the movie, so I can only imagine this uncle and aunt not knowing what the hell was going on and why is these people knocking on their door at the wee hours of the morning. But everyone else, all the kids in the house knew. And they just like, oh shit, they coming to get you. And although, I mean, don't get me wrong, I got my problems on why I didn't like the Till movie. But the way they explain everything, I can only imagine. The adults in the house not knowing, but the kids waking Emmett. I mean the kids. I mean the kids waking Emmett Till up. Like, look, they come to get you. What do we do? Everyone's scared, and it was like none of us know. We wasn't there, but I can only imagine that like that quick reaction. Everything is so quick. They waking like, oh shit, they come to get you. They come to get you. They come to get you. And he trying to get some sleep, but it's a really serious situation. Like you don't know how to react because 3 days passed, no one said nothing about it. It's already shocking when it happened, but now 3 days passed, nobody said nothing about it, and then all of a sudden, you being woken up by some men with flashlights and guns looking through the whole house to come find you. And this is pretty much the last time you're going to be alive. And then what makes it even more worse is what makes the story even more crazy is being 14 years old, you rush to get dressed, you pretty much manhandled, put in the back of a pickup truck, seeing black men involved, forced to be involved, I'm guessing. Black men involved, lifting your head up to put in the back of the window to be identified, or however the story may go, whether he was identified in the car, or they took him to a place to be identified, or however the story may go, you identify, and the person saying yes, that's him. Now, years later, they said she wrote a book where she kept saying that it wasn't him. So this whole story is we don't know because the story done switched up so many times. The movies are saying that he was identified in the back of the pickup truck that night. His uncle Moses said that he heard a woman voice identify it was him. Then another story saying that they took him to a store, took him back to the store where he was identified. It's so much. It's just crazy. Just the story itself, all these years later, it's like, what is the full truth? Because it's a lot of mix-ups. But anywho, let's continue to play this video so I can give y'all my opinion.
To Till's kidnapping, who was never interviewed by authorities.
That's his cousin. I believe that's his cousin. One of the cousins that was at the store with him.
Us his story.
We had picked cotton that day.
It was a Wednesday evening, August 1955. Emmett Till's cousin, Pastor Wheeler Parker.
Once again, I just want to keep on saying I don't own copyrights. This is for reaction purposes only. That's why I'm trying my best to post, because I have done another reaction and YouTube tried to take it down, saying that it was copyright purposes. So I don't know if they're gonna let me slide with this one. I'm gonna try my best to do a reaction to this video.
Parker was 16 years old. He lived in Chicago. That summer, Wheeler and his grandfather took a train south with Emmett to visit family in Mississippi.
I went into the store. Miss Bryant, she waited on me. And while she was waiting on me, Emmett Till came in the store. I left him in the store for a short time.
Parker says an uncle.
Then that's another thing, like, that was crazy, because like I said, everybody telling their stories. Now, he's saying that he went in the store first, and then Emmett Till came into the store. But then in the movies, they make it seem like Emmett Till went in there by himself first, and someone had to go in after him to see what was going on, what was taking them so long.
They were visiting in Mississippi went into the store to be with Emmett.
And while we were out of the store, Miss Bryant came out of the store. Emmett whistled at her. And we just could not believe that he had done that. We made a beeline for the car. Openly, publicly, black guy versus a white woman? That was way out of bounds. Never heard of such a thing. You get killed for reckless eyeballing.
3 days later, Carolyn Bryant's husband.
And then that's another thing. One minute they saying they saying that he whistled at Carolyn. Then some people saying that it wasn't at Carolyn. He whistled at a checkers game, then or whatever board game they was playing at the time. To let them know he is ready to leave. And Carolyn took it as he was whistling at her. I don't know. I'm just like, all these years, I'm still catching on to the mix-ups, especially with watching documentaries of them explain story, reading all this other stuff. It's like, what actually happened?
And brother-in-law went to find Till. They found him at his uncle's house.
Then about 2:30 in the morning, that's when.
Now, hold on. Let me go back to that picture.
all went to
You could tell just by this picture, although they both got to take the blame, and I guess they got their karma eventually, but you could just tell by this picture. The one who just side-eye, and he probably wasn't really with it. He like, look, I'm mad, but look, they offer money, and you can hear. I mean, you could tell, because they're saying that Moses and the Iron offered money, and he was willing to take it, but Mr. Big Racism with the far back, he like forget the money. I ain't with it. We got. I mean, if you take this money, then they gonna think that they could do whatever they want. Enough is enough. We want him dead.
find Till. They found him at his uncle's house.
Then about 2:30 in the morning, that's when I hear him talking. So we're looking for the fat boy from Chicago that did the talking. Say anything about Whistle. I said, God, I'm getting ready to die. These people are going to kill us. They found Emmett in the third room. And that's when they arrived.
They keep on talking about some the fat boy. The fat boy, he don't never look fat.
I was him up. He had no idea. Otherwise, he would not have gone. I wasn't going with him because I knew what the deal was. You could just feel death. It was pure terror, pure hell in that house.
It was the last time his cousin would see him alive.
Poor thing just had no idea. He had no idea what he was in for.
Soon after, Emmett Till's body was found in the Tallahatchie River. He had been kidnapped, tortured, shot, and then dumped. A cotton gin fan tied to his neck with barbed wire. Carolyn Bryant's husband and his brother were arrested and tried and found not guilty.
They told the story. They never interviewed us.
There was no autopsy, no real investigation, no questioning of witnesses, including Wheeler's grandfather, about what happened that day. Mississippi State Senator David Jordan was a college student. He was there in the courtroom.
It was the hottest case in America.
At the trial of Roy Bryant and J.W. Milam, Till was painted as a predator. Mrs. Bryant said Till grabbed her and testified that he told her he had been with other white women before.
Nobody was. This was just a plaything, a mockery of a trial.
It was in this courtroom, after just an hour of deliberation, that the all-white jury let the accused walk free. Months later, the men admitted to killing Till. In Look magazine, they'd been paid for their interview. After Till's body was sent home to Chicago, Emmett's mother insisted on an open casket at the funeral of Emmett Till into international news, the world to see what had been done to her son. Those photographs would fuel the civil rights movement.
He didn't die in vain because a lot of good came out. Rosa Parks, a few months later, when she was asked to give up her seat to a white man, she said she thought about Emmett Till. And she got the fire in her belly to stand up.
Carolyn Bryant's story was engraved in history. Now, 6 decades later, historian Tim Tyson reveals what Carolyn Bryant told him. Tyson says Bryant lied about Till touching her or uttering obscenities. She says that part's not true. Carolyn Bryant is still alive, and some question whether she had knowledge of Till's death. Pastor Wheeler described his grandfather running outside when men kidnapped Emmett.
He heard them ask one, and he said, it sounded like a woman's voice. It identified him. I don't know exactly the words she used, but it identified Till as being the one that did the talking. Remember, they're not talking about a whistle. They're talking about doing the talking, which I understand now, there was no talking.
It was a lie that galvanized the civil rights movement.
What's going on, Graveyard Shift family? It is your fearless shift leader, Dalen Spratt, clocked in for another amazing shift. Y'all, this shift has been requested by countless people, and I have always said that I was going to make it a point to get to Chicago and try to come speak to this young man. This story hits home because I remember growing up and my dad just like always just telling me the story of young Emmett Till and just how tragic his death was, and just everything that sparked from it. He used to just always tell me how powerful the picture of Emmett Till being placed in Jet magazine was, and how it was an image that when he first saw it as a child, like it never left his mind. And then you just, you get older and you start researching the story of Emmett Till, and you see that it was just this young boy from Chicago who ends up going down south to visit his family. And he goes to inside of a store that was owned by a white lady and her husband. And the white lady said that Emmett Till whistled at her and made an inappropriate comment. Later that night, a mob came to Emmett Till's family's house and drugged this young boy out the house. And they beat him, they shot him, they strangled him, and they threw him in a river. The two gentlemen that ended up being arrested for the crime, they were quickly found not guilty. 4 months after being found not guilty, they sold the rights to their story to a magazine and told the truth of how they killed Emmett Till. The woman who claimed Emmett Till whistled at her recently died a few years ago, and it has come out that she fabricated a lot of her story, and she admitted to fabricating her story. And a lot of people were calling for the prosecution of this lady who lied on young Emmett Till 34.
That's another thing. Because as y'all see, the guy, he claimed that he did an interview with Carolyn, and she said that it was a lie. A lot of stuff that happened really didn't happen, but what did happen, still, he shouldn't have been killed for it. Then the family or her herself said there was a lie, that the interview never happened, or whatever the case may be. And then eventually some book came out called I Am More Than a Wolf Whistle or something like that, where I guess Carolyn wrote it or somebody wrote it for her, whatever the case may be. I didn't buy it. I haven't read it. But yeah, it's just a lie.
40, 50, 60 years ago. It's just a crazy story all the way around, and it literally set the motion for the civil rights movement. So it's definitely interesting to come here and to be able to visit the final resting space of young Emmett Till, just someone, like I said, who I've always heard about. If you haven't seen the movie, please check out the movie. It's a really good movie. If you haven't heard the story of Emmett Till, please read the story. And I'm sure I've placed some clips and some pictures somewhere in this video.
Me personally, when he said if you haven't seen the movie, Till, I believe Till is actually on Tubi. You may be able to also watch it on YouTube if I'm not mistaken. Me personally, it kind of tells a story, but then again, I remember before watching the movie, Whoopi Goldberg was doing an interview where they was explaining why they didn't want to show any brutality of, like, they didn't want to show any black person being beaten. Me personally, and a lot of people was a little upset with the Till movie. But me personally, I feel like at the end of the day, what's the point of not showing it? That's his story. If you want to tell his story, tell the full story. Let it be known what led to it, what actually happened to this boy. Let the full story be told. I would recommend watching Women of the Movement, which still should be on Hulu, because I watched it recently. I believe you should watch Women of the Movement. Watch all 6 episodes. because it's more detail. It actually show like bits and pieces of the beating, the shooting, them dumping the body in the river and everything else. Um, Like that's how I feel. Just like tell the full story, show it. If you going to show the aftermath for what his body looked like afterwards, why not show what led to his body looking like that? And yes, women of the movement was very detailed. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I watched it several times.
So I apologize if the imagery may be a lot to some, but I do find it necessary to post this story in its truth. So yeah, it's really, really windy outside. So I don't know how a session is going to be, but let's go over to his resting space and pay our respect. And if we can, I would love to try to get a quick spirit box session in. But today it is very, 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 very windy in the Windy City. But let's check out. Let's check.
I mean, like paying your respects is by dropping off some flowers or some gifts and stuff. Just saying how you feel, stuff like that. I just didn't really agree with his questions and the so-called responses he claimed the spirit box gave. It just, I don't know. It just seemed like that. I just couldn't see Emmett responding in that way, nor I'm gonna let y'all watch it. I just ain't agree with it. I don't know.
Check it out. I hate that it is so windy today, but I want to show you all the final resting space of Little Till. Right here, we have Emmett Lewis Till, kidnapped, tortured, and murdered. The 69th anniversary. That's horrible that that's even the anniversary of someone being kidnapped, tortured, and murdered. Emmett Till.
I like that color picture of him, but I don't know why. It just seemed like when the picture is black and white, it seemed like he got light color eyes, like hazel eyes or something. And that's another thing. Clearly they make it seem like Emmett Till was light skinned. Hey, but I feel like when you do a body, you supposed to try to match their energy the best. I mean, match everything about them the best way you can. But just like, who is it? I think it kind of bars me because the way that they did Nina Simone, y'all got a light skinned, not even African American woman saying Nina Simone and pretty much doing blackface to get the role as if y'all couldn't get a dark skinned woman to play Nina Simone. That movie pretty much bothered me. Um it's a few roles that I question. Some bother me, some really didn't bother me, but I still kind of question certain bits and. But anyhow, that's beside the point. We're not going to make this a race and skin color thing. This already is a topic.
January 25th, 1941. August 28th, 1955. He was 14 years old. He was 14. A lot of people come here and leave a lot of gifts for little Emmett. Emmett, my name is Dalen. I come in peace, love, and respect. And what I do is I come to wrestling communities like this and I speak to those who may not have been spoken to. I know people talk about you and think about you all the time. I just wanted to come by and pay my respect. It's very, very windy, y'all. Let me get my spirit box and see if I can just try to do a quick session. Y'all, I hope the wind isn't too bad. If it is, I apologize. Emmett.
Now, mind y'all, I don't want to seem like I'm hating on the video because I really don't have too many problems with the video. I just don't agree with the questions that were asked, nor do I. I just don't. I mean, I also don't with the responses. I don't know how the spirit box thing works. Why people find any interest in doing stuff like this? I don't know. I don't know. But
Brother, man, I am sorry for what happened to you, man, for what happened to you, brother. You didn't deserve that. Nobody deserves anything like that. I can only imagine how afraid, how scared. I would like to speak to Emmett Till. This is like, I don't know, man. It's like an honor, bro. Like I've literally heard about you my whole life. My whole life. Like you, albeit something horrible happened to you, you were responsible for a lot of greatness thereafter, man. You inspired a lot of greatness. A martyr is what they will call someone like you. Emmett, are you here?
Sure.
Can you tell me your name just so I know who I'm talking to? It just verifies for me that I'm talking to who I came here to talk to. Can you say your name for me, please?
From our backseat.
I'm starting to feel a little way, like my stomach's starting to hurt. Let me try this other box. Emmett, are you here with me, buddy? Can you tell me your name, please?
so I'm guessing that I don't know, but from what I'm taking there, I mean, uh, I don't understand this whole spirit box thing. So I'm guessing that the anchor is a spirit box, and then he have a spirit box app on his tablet or something like that. And I guess they're saying that from what I'm taking from this part is he's around his family and he's really not like he's answering the questions, but then again, he's like, I don't know you, I don't really trust you. I already told you my name. I don't know. I don't know how the spirit box work, or I don't. I don't know.
I would love to hear you say your name, please. Okay. Well, Emmett, are you here with me?
You know, the
What can I do to speak to Emmett, please? Nothing. It sounds like there's a lot of people being protective over Emmett right now. But I come in peace and love. I'm just here to speak to him. Is there someone trying to stop me from talking to Emmett? Why should I not talk to Emmett?
That's what I didn't get. It said he died. He died. You were killed, huh?
Emmett, can I ask you a few questions about your life? I just feel like the whole world has gotten to tell your story, and no one has gotten it directly from you. So, if possible, and to all of your family that's here and everyone that's protecting and listening, know that my intentions are pure, and I'm not trying to just make up anything. I've always heard the story, and I genuinely have questions. I hope you're resting in peace, Emmett. I hope you're resting in peace, brother. Emmett, how do you feel knowing that your death sparked an entire movement? So, Emmett, the lady that lied on you, she was the last one living. She recently passed away. Do you have any thoughts on her? Do you think she will ever receive her justice? Emmett, what about the two men that lied and said that they didn't hurt you? They got acquitted.
This is what I like that. So I like world order. You did.
Who are you with now, Emmett? You say your family? Are you with your mom? Emmett, do you remember what happened that day with that lady at the store? You said you were looking, and what happened? Did you ever say anything to the lady? Did you have any interaction with the woman?
That's the questions that bother me. Did you say anything to the lady? Did you have any interactions? Clearly, there had to be an interaction with him going to the store asking for candy. Even if the candy was in a thing, you still have to interact to pay for it. He's not from Mississippi. He's probably still used to how things go in stores in Chicago. I'm still confused on how the story go. Because was it that he went in the store himself and asked for some candy, or how everything is, or did one of his cousins go in and he followed? I don't know.
Yeah, so everything in the street. Yeah.
By the time you left the store, did you know that you had offended her?
You know, like you. No, that is so. How say want to get
Did you know that those people that came to the house were there to hurt you?
I just put it on the head. You know, yes.
I feel really sad. I feel really sad. It's like it's like what questions can you even ask? It was just like a messed up situation all the way around. Emmett, I apologize, man. I apologize for anything like that ever happening to you. I don't even want to ask you no more questions about it, man. I just want to tell you that I appreciate you giving your life for the betterment of ours. Even if it wasn't by choice, your name rings on, man. How do you feel about that, Emmett? Does it make you feel good to know that you will never be forgotten?
The wall. There. Now it's do your work. And
Your name will forever live on, Emmett Till. Is there anything you would like to say? I don't know. I feel really.
I just looking like, what is there to say? Even after all these years later, still no justice. Many incidents still continuing to happen, similar to what happened to Emmett Till. Look at what happened to Kendrick Johnson, found in the gym mat, killed by, I don't want to be racist, the other side. And clearly he's not getting no justice because, well, from my understanding of watching the documentary, it seems like he's not getting no justice because the alleged killers are the people who allegedly had something to do with his death, are related to someone that works in the police field. And look at what happened to Trayvon Martin. No justice. Look at what happened to Oscar Grant in the movie Fruitvale Station. No justice. Look at Sandra Bland. Did she get justice? Breonna Taylor, did she get justice? Now, don't get me wrong. There are a few deaths that happened and there was justice in some way. But then again, there's still a lot that's still going on and still no justice. And Emmett Till is one of them. And then there's word that there's a lot more people involved than just Carolyn Bryant, Roy Bryant, and J.W. Milam. They're saying that there may be a lot more people involved that may be still alive today. I mean, this happened in 1955, so I could believe it. It's only 2025. I could believe it. Y'all probably be like, now when y'all. No, Emmett Till was in his. Emmett Till probably be like around 70, 80, maybe older than that now. And y'all is a lot older than Emmett Till, so if there's anybody that's still alive, this is crazy. But it was something iffy about the questions and the answers to me. Y'all let me know how y'all feel watching this video.
Really sad. Like, I've never felt like this before. Like, it's just an overwhelming sense of like sorrow. I don't know. Like, his resting space feels peaceful, but it just doesn't feel at rest. It doesn't feel at rest. And I feel bad for even coming over here, like even talking about it. because there was no justice involved. Yeah, it sparked a lot of great things, but at the sake of what? Like at the sake of being tortured and kidnapped and murdered? Like as I was talking to him, I was like, man, that don't even like it's like you're trying to make the situation better. Like Emmett, man, you're the reason for X, Y, and Z. Yeah, you were the catalyst for the civil rights movement. But like I said, was it your choice? You were forced to be that. And through what? Through the sacrifice of your life in a painful, painful way. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. That's a heavy load for anybody to carry, let alone a 13, 14-year-old young boy. That's the energy that you feel sitting at his resting space. Like even after all these years, like, no, it ain't right. It wasn't right. And there is no peace attached to that. There was no justice attached to that. Like that boy deserved his justice, his peace. I'm sorry, Emmett. Love, love, love. Yeah. Catch you next time.
New insight tonight into the woman who accused 14-year-old Emmett Till of whistling at her in a Mississippi store in 1955. WRL's Chelsea Donovan reports on a memoir.
All right, I'm not going to play the full video because it's pretty much news clippings that y'all probably could find elsewhere. I just wanted to play him come to the casket and speaking, which he says was the spirit of Emmett Till. Then you had some comments saying that woman should have been charged with murder. He was just a little boy, and they were spineless men. She lied, and she knew how her husband would react. By doing so, she set in motion this most horrific act. The night she identified Emmett to his attackers. Years later, she tried to walk back her story. But during the trial, she spewed lies about this young boy. The story of Emmett has left its mark on my heart. I will never forget him. Here it does appear. Here it does appear there are those protectively surrounding him. On the other side, may seem to have only been a short time since he crossed. Here, nearly 70 years, he is possibly still healing from the trauma that happened to him. May he rest in God's embrace. Thank you, darling, for this beautiful video. I'm a white woman of a certain age, and what they did to this young, beautiful black man was a decision is a sad day in our history. I cry for his mother and him. Yes, as you can see, the movie is on YouTube and it's free with the movie too. about this video. Y'all tell me what y'all think about it. I said I'm not trying to bash it or anything like that. I just was a little bit iffy about the certain questions being asked and the responses. But it was a very nice video. Pretty much of what Emmett Till's gravesite looked like today. Very beautifully decorated with a nice picture of him in color. This story is just crazy. Like, comment, subscribe, y'all. I'll be back in another video.